Horror Coast to Coast is a movie review podcast featuring strong language, horror film spoilers, and discussions of violence, gore, and disturbing subject matter. Listener discretion is advised.
Horror Coast to Coast.
Welcome to Horror Coast to Coast, where we review horror movies from opposite sides of the continental U.S. From the spookiest vegetable patch in New England, I'm Brian.
And remembering to keep my headlights on at night in California, I'm Michelle.
And this week we watched Pumpkinhead II, Blood Wings from 1994, directed by Jeff Burr.
A group of teens accidentally resurrect the demon Pumpkinhead while trying to summon the spirit of a boy murdered years earlier, leading to a gruesome rampage as the creature seeks revenge on the original killers and the new teens.
Well, I don't think they really knew what they were resurrecting. They just wanted to do whatever.
Yeah, they had no idea what they were doing. They had no goals.
In fact, I'm pretty sure Danny got exactly what he wanted.
Yeah. Even though at one point he says there's no such thing as like bringing someone back from the dead. I really don't know what there's a lot of shit going on. Like motives were very unclear. Except for one, which is kill all the freaks.
Yeah, so we get our title card and then it like explodes and we fade into black and white in a really strange choice.
Yeah.
We're in black and white because it's 1958, and even though they had color TV at that point.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I'd have to look up exactly when color TV became an option, but I buy it. 1958, sure, whatever. They're just trying to get you to feel that this was a long time ago, you know?
Yeah. So we've got a group of jocks, and Wikipedia calls them greasers, but I don't think they're greasers, are they? They're all wearing Letterman jackets, and they're just kind of jocks and bullies.
Wikipedia might be going based on the fact that their hair was slicked back.
And it's
the 50s.
And they've got switchblades.
Oh, that's right.
So I guess they're half greasers. They've got switchblades. Yeah. Oh, so there's an old lady and she's calling out to Tommy, and we see that Tommy is like a boy with deformities, and he's being chased down by these jocks who are just like absolutely ruthless.
Yeah, have you ever seen the movie Mask?
No, but I know.
Okay, I know the kid. That's exactly who this reminded me of, is that kid from the movie Mask, the one with Cher.
Well, I was thinking of the episode of The X-Files that's directly inspired by that.
Oh.
Do you know which one I'm talking about? The Great Mutano, who is obsessed with Cher.
Yes, I remember that.
Because this feels kind of like an X-Files cold open.
It sort of does.
It's the same era, and this feels like TV budget, because this flashback is not that well done, I don't think.
Yeah.
It's a little cheap
It's weird
looking.
because it felt like it couldn't quite decide on the tone, right? Because they're obviously... So the scene when it opens, this old lady is calling for Tommy, and then she puts down what looks like dog food, and then you see his like deformed hand grab the dish. So it's like it's not clear if he is her cast off offspring that she feels obligated to continue to care for, but she keeps him outdoors and feeds him garbage, or if she really cares about him and this is an actual service she's doing. It was very unclear until the point where, they start beating on him and stuff.
Well, given that this is our third Pumpkinhead movie, I'm already like, okay, old lady, obviously a crazy old
100%.
bitch.
Yeah, I was like, I am not...
So her feeding him with the dog bowl is like, yeah, par for the course.
Yeah, I guess so. But it felt like this was before before she was old and a witch. I mean, I really don't know, but it felt like she wasn't quite to that point of this is my corpse. It didn't feel like she was gonna say that's my corpse at any point. She just felt like she maybe had a little bit more vibrancy left in her. But you can see the heartache because she feels what he feels, I guess. Um,
Oh
and they
yeah.
start beating him, and honestly, I gotta say this was a little uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
ruthless. At first I kind of thought like they're gonna like beat him up and like probably just, leave. But no, they beat him, then they stab him
yeah,
like 100 times, and then they're like swinging him back and forth on a
yeah.
rope, and then
They,
they get bored and they just straight up hang
yeah,
him,
they,
drop him down into the mine, hanging by the
yeah.
neck.
They. This was basically a lynching, and it did
Yeah,
not go on for a short amount of time. Like it went on for a
yeah,
while,
yeah. That was a full-on
and it was
lynching. That was
really
wild.
uncomfortable to watch. And there was a lot of close-up shots of them laughing, and I couldn't tell if this was supposed to
Oh
be
yeah.
like a just this absurd I don't know, maybe highlighting how absurd this was, or maybe highlighting how
Yeah,
much they deserve what's coming to them.
almost like a biased
Yeah.
retelling where you're like exaggerating it. But yeah, I was thinking like, man, if you didn't hate the kids in the first movie enough, they turned it not up to 11 but up to
Holy crap.
12. Like
Yeah.
these aren't even like these teenagers are just demons.
Yeah.
They're not even
And I
people.
gotta say, the adults that they become don't accurately reflect the teenagers they were. Like the adults
Yeah.
they become are just like ho hum small town dummies. They're not anything like the cruelty they show in this scene.
I mean, that is kind of how it often goes, though. Like you run into like the shittiest kids at your high school, and it's like, wow, you're remarkably normal now. That's
I guess
strange.
so. But I just think when I watch these movies where kids commit an awful act in their youth and then later on like get what's coming to them, a lot of times those personalities don't change all that much. And so you kind of see, oh yeah,
Yeah,
they're getting what's coming to them finally, and they probably still deserve it. Like they haven't reformed at all. I feel like that's usually what it is.
yeah, and it's only really the judge in this one.
Yeah.
The judge is still a massive piece of shit, but the others are kind of just normal
Yeah.
guys in a small town.
Right. So after we watch that long, uncomfortable black and white scene, then we are taken to, I guess, what would have been present day, like sometime in the 90s.
Yeah, so yeah, probably 1993 because that's when this was
Right.
filmed. And you can tell by the teenagers' fashion, it's very early 90s. I love that.
Yeah.
I love how early 90s the kids look.
Yeah.
But we're introduced to Sheriff Braddock, who has moved back into town he's been gone for a while, and now he's picking up the role as sheriff. And we're also introduced to his daughter, Jenny, who is now hanging out with the local hooligans at school.
Yeah.
And is this like her first day at school?
I don't know.
And
I
she
can't
just decides to
imagine.
ditch?
I can't imagine it's her first day because they already knew who she was. But unless it's like a small town thing where they
Oh,
all know each
okay.
other, it feels like she knew them kind of and they knew her kind of. So it must not have been her very first day. But you do get a tiny bit of the backstory that they came from New York City, where he was a sheriff and he just wanted to get away, or I guess he was a police officer, where he just wanted to get away from the inner city violence or whatever, and so he moves to this small town.
Yeah.
Which it actually, for some reason, I thought it was really funny as he was explaining all this, because in my head I was like, so you want a job where you don't have to work? Because
Don't we all?
I guess so, but he kind of says, oh yeah, there's going to be nothing here. It's going to be a quiet town, blah, 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 which is like, dude, don't say that out loud. The universe will be like coming at you. But
Yeah.
the reason they move, or at least part of the reason they move, is also because Jenny got into trouble in the city,
Yeah.
which, whatever. That's just
Yeah. She's immediately falling in with the worst
yeah,
group.
that's just the trope, like whatever. The
Oh,
inner city kid.
everything about this is a trope.
Yeah, I know. But that one was the one I was like, oh God. The inner city kid who doesn't seem like she actually ever got into trouble and is not the slightest
Yeah,
bit
right? She seems like a total
I know,
goody
she's not the
two-shoes.
slightest bit of a badass.
Yeah, there's no edge
No
to
edge to her at all, especially her voice. And
Yeah.
Anyway, you're supposed to believe that she is this girl who got into a whole bunch of trouble, and they're moving away from the influences of the city.
And in retrospect, it's probably just that she fell in with a bad group and didn't have the spine to tell them no when they got her into
Yeah,
trouble.
that's actually sounds like it's pretty much what happened.
Yeah.
Because she puts up no fight when these kids are like, come hang out with us. And at first she's like, no, I don't want to. And you think she's going to be like, no, but, buzz off and they'll come back and find her. But no, it takes like one more sentence and she's like, okay, sure.
Yeah. So they skip class and they go like hang out at the abandoned mine. And the music is like alternate dimension hair
Oh,
metal.
yes. I did catch the music. I was like, oh, what in the fabrication is this? Yeah, kind of funny. It was the same music that was playing at the beginning too in the credits.
Yeah. Yeah, it pops up a few times. It's like the guys who worked on the music for this must have had a metal band.
Yeah, and they didn't have to pay any royalties.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, so then they meet another kid there because there were only 4 total in the car, but the kid they meet is like Paul or Pete or something, I forget.
Oh yeah, I think it's Polly.
And then the other kids are Marcy, who I didn't know this until I looked it up, is Soleil Moonfry. And then her boyfriend, whose name I did not catch, and then our lead guy, Danny.
Yep. So they're hanging out, up to no good, smoking and all that, fucking around at the mine, and then Jenny's dad rolls up, and for some reason they don't like take off. They just sit there and he comes and Danny introduces himself and like shakes his hand and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, he is absolutely playing it up. I couldn't get that either.
And he's like, oh, so you're the judge's boy, so you know this is no trespassing. And also, you should all be in school. And then he's like, I'll take you home, Jenny. And Jenny's like, Dad, like, what did you expect? Yeah. You skipped class and got caught. What are you whining about?
Do you think he's going to walk away and just leave you here? Also, you're trespassing. So he's going to do the responsible thing.
Like he's going to be like, well, have fun smoking pot in the abandoned mine with your friends, Jenny. See you at dinner.
And he was also very reasonable with them, very like level-headed. He didn't he wasn't like doing that thing where, the authority figure is like, I'm in charge here and you have to listen to me. He just calmly explained to them like, you shouldn't be here, you should be in school, see you later, you're gonna leave, right?
It's like the most level-headed small town sheriff in all of horror.
He really was.
And then she's like, first you tell me to make friends, then you don't like the ones I make. And again, I'm like, well, you were skipping class and smoking with them. Like, what do you expect here?
It was so bizarre. She was like not at all in her right mind, which whatever. I get it. It's supposed to be she's a teenager. She doesn't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
But he takes her home and she immediately turns around and sneaks out.
But I just want to say before that, like the way we cut tonight is we like cut to the moon and there's a super dramatic music sting for no reason.
Yeah. And is this the...
I was like, what is this?
Because it's a full moon. Right? That's the...
What's that have to do with Pumpkinhead? This isn't a werewolf movie.
Nobody knows. I noticed that too. I was like, very dramatic shot of this full moon. Is it supposed to mean something?
Maybe if we were watching Bad Moon, I'd understand why this has to be so dramatic. But Pumpkinhead doesn't give a shit about the moon.
Well, I don't know. I thought, okay, maybe they'll reveal later on that the spell requires a full moon. I don't know. But I'm guessing maybe it did. They just didn't emphasize that.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, that just caught me completely off guard. Right. So anyway, she sneaks out, and apparently their idea of fun is turning their headlights off when they're driving down the road and turning it back on. Is this a thing? Is this a thing people do?
Yeah, I mean, I assume this is supposed to be like a thrill-seeking thing.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe it's supposed to be adjacent to like, what are those things called? Where the cars like go to drive at each other and then...
Like chicken?
Chicken, yeah. Maybe it's supposed to be chicken adjacent.
I guess so.
But yeah, I mean, yes, from our adult point of view, this is the dumbest thing that anyone could do for enjoyment. But they keep doing it, and who would have guessed? They turn the lights back on, and there's someone in the road. And of course, he doesn't react in time, probably because he's still fucking high, but also he can't react in time and he hits the person.
Yep. And the person he hits is apparently the old lady from the opening. Right. And her name is Miss O.C.
Right.
But they can't find her. She's gone. Yeah. And he's like, well, I guess she left. Right. Case closed.
And
let's
Jenny
go.
puts her foot down. I was like, okay, maybe we were wrong about you. She's like, dude, a hit and run is serious shit. We need to go make sure she's okay. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. She obviously has some sense in her head.
Obviously, she's fucking not okay. You hit a 90-year-old woman with your fucking muscle
car.
Right,
but he's like, oh, she got up and walked away. Obviously, she's fine. And we see her pulling herself to the side of the road, and we don't actually see what happens after that.
Yeah, and I think it's like Polly is like, well, that doesn't mean she's fine. And I'm like, yeah, listen to him. She probably has internal bleeding because you fucking hit a 90-year-old lady.
So they go searching in the woods, I guess? Or one of them knows where she lives.
They're like, who is she? And then Danny's like, she's no one. And Marcy's like, some people say she's a witch. And Jenny gives her the most what the fuck look. Like ever. She's like, what the fuck are you talking about with her eyes?
Yeah.
And I'm like, fair, because you just hit a lady and now you're calling her a witch.
But they know where she lives, and so they go straight to her house.
Yeah.
And they knock and no one answers. And so they let themselves in.
Of course. So they're poking around and they find it's like a pentagram with 5 rocks. And they're like, Marcy knows all about this kind of shit. And she's like, this is way beyond Ouija boards. This is beyond my knowledge. But then she picks up a book and she's like, oh, this is the Book of Shadows. And this is a spell to raise the dead. I'm like, I guess it wasn't beyond you then. Because you immediately know this real book of spells upon seeing it.
But I mean, maybe she knows it, but is like, I can't work this kind of magic or something. Who knows?
Well, it seems pretty easy.
Well, the instructions are.
We'll find out.
Instructions are on the page, I guess.
Yeah, and it's in English. Shouldn't it be in Latin or some shit?
Yeah.
Or ancient Sumerian?
Yeah. And before they come in, they walk through this lady's yard, and we get a bird's eye view of them walking through. And they walk through this space that has the 5 rocks. It's massive.
Oh,
and in the middle is a grave or something.
And one of them's like, what the fuck is this? The pet cemetery?
Yeah. And so when they go in the house, they see a smaller model of that on her table. And then in the middle, there's a little wedding figurine. There's a little groomsman, but he's covered in blood.
Yeah. And then the witch shows up and she's like, leave here now. And Danny's shining his flashlight directly into her face. And he's like, oh, she's blind.
Yeah.
And then she's like, these eyes see more than you know, boy.
Yeah. So then they all leave, but Danny is still holding the figurine, and she's like, you need to put that back. And for some reason, he absolutely refuses. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
How he is like, this is now mine, and you can't have it back. And she grabs it, and he wrestles it from her, and then cracks her over the head with his flashlight.
Yeah.
I was like, oh gosh, you really are. We know whose kid you are, basically, at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. I kind of got he wanted to do the ritual, so he was going to steal it, but going that far to bash an old lady's head in over it, it's probably just a piece of twigs from your perspective. What are you bashing an old lady's head in over it for?
And then if they had done what they wanted to do and it didn't work, then, which is actually what they think happened, right? Then he beat her for nothing. It was weird. It escalated very quickly.
Yeah.
But they take the figurine and they go out to the grave. They dig it up, which was like, huh? You're just on someone's property digging their shit up? What the hell? But they dig it up.
Yeah. And then we cut to the old lady back in her house and she's like crawling on the floor. She like reaches for a tablecloth, but there's all kinds of candles on it. So she pulls the tablecloth and the candles fall and suddenly her whole house is on
Right. And
fire.
also, let's add, those are candles that Marcy lit when she was in her house.
Oh,
Marcy
yeah.
lit all those candles, and I was like, why are you in someone's house lighting their candles? But yeah, Marcy lights those candles, and then when she pulls it, they all fall down.
Oh, and she's also like, "You'll all die by the vengeance of Pumpkinhead."
Yeah, she says that. But then it's Jenny who is like, I don't want to be here anymore, and she leaves. But she goes through the woods, I guess, to go back the way they had left their car, and she sees that the house is on fire. And this is after they had done this weird little ritual. They find Tommy's body in the grave. It's all deformed.
Well, she left like halfway through, didn't she? Like they started digging it up, and she's like, "This is too much."
I think she sees. I don't even know if she sees the body.
Yeah, they just like digging up a grave, and she's like, "Yeah, no."
Yeah, so they pour some blood. It was like really weird, but they pour some blood in. They say,
yeah, apparently it's the blood of the damned, and this is the ritual that they read in the book.
Yeah,
they
say the words, and then nothing happens. And then Jenny comes back. Oh my God, her house is on fire. And so it seems like all of them are, let's go save her. And Danny is like, hell no.
Yeah, they all like return to the house, and they're like, "Oh, she probably got out. We gotta go."
Yeah.
So Jenny should have just immediately ran in and not gone and got the hooligan squad.
Yeah.
And the old lady might not have been set on fire.
Right.
But then we cut to the grave, and there's like a glowing light, and Pumpkinhead rises from the grave.
Yes. And I don't remember what he looked like in the first movie, but it still felt familiar. So maybe he looked like this?
I feel like he looked just like this.
That was kind of what I thought, but I was like, well, I don't really know because I haven't seen it in a while. But yeah. So in terms of special effects, it was good.
Yeah. Pumpkinhead looks great in this. No bullshit sci-fi channel CG like in the third movie.
Oh, yeah. This is full on guy in a suit.
Yeah. But there's also like animatronic, like facial animations and stuff that really add to the effects. So we cut to the sheriff, and he's saying like he's talking to the doctor. She's like, the old lady's in the hospital. It's probably only a matter of time now. And then in one of many very bad deliveries from the sheriff, he's like, maybe it wasn't an accident.
Yeah.
He just gives some real flat deliveries at some key moments in this movie.
Yeah, there were a few of the actors, I think, that did that.
Yeah.
One of them was...
I think he's the most prominent.
Yeah, but one of them was also the doctor, the coroner. She gave some... She had some delivery issues as well.
Yeah.
But then we see this guy... Is this when Ernst comes up?
Yeah, back at the sheriff's station... This guy, Ernst, he's like a redneck, bursts in with a shotgun. And he's like, what's the shotgun for, Ernst? He's like, it's a free country, ain't it? And then he's saying, I want a refund for my hunting license because I ain't going in that holler.
Yeah, I don't know.
And is that supposed to be hollow?
I don't...
I don't know what word that's supposed to be.
I don't know what he was saying. When he's like, I'm not a hunter anymore. Like, yes, you are. Also,
well, he's saying he ain't going hunting in those woods because there's a monster now. But he says in that holler, and I don't know what he's trying to say with that word.
Yeah. Okay, we can only guess.
But he says, you mess with Miss O.C., you mess with Satan himself. And he also mentions that he saw a red convertible.
Yeah. So he reveals that he was there and that he saw a little bit of what happened.
Yeah.
And so then the sheriff's theory about it not being an accident is confirmed to some degree.
Yeah. And he knows exactly one person with a red convertible in this town. And that's Danny.
And when he goes to talk to Danny confirms it for him. He's like, there's no other car like mine in a 50-mile radius. And I'm like, why would you say that?
Right?
Yeah. So he goes to talk to Danny.
Danny loves incriminating himself.
Yeah, he's I don't know. That character, I was just like, how can you make someone so reckless and so unlikable and so evil? And I don't know. It just.
And why the hell does Jenny like him?
Exactly. Especially since she seems to be kind of suspicious of him to begin with, and she is definitely seeing the red flags, but then she just is like, okay, whatever. And then he's like, oh, the sheriff's just met because I'm dating his daughter, which he says before they actually get together, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was just so obvious. You're the worst and you're gonna die, and I don't know if I want to watch all the awful things you're probably gonna do throughout this movie.
Oh, and the sheriff notices a big dent in the car, and he's like, so how'd that happen? He's like, oh, I hit a dog.
Yeah.
And aren't you supposed to report it if you hit a dog? Like, aren't you supposed to report that to the sheriff?
Yeah, probably.
So he'd probably be like,
where's the dog?
You didn't report that. Where's the dog? Yeah. Did you kill someone's pet?
Right.
No follow-up.
But as he's having this conversation, his dad walks out and introduces himself. And so he sort of backs away and is like, okay, great. I'll be keeping an eye on you. And this is when he tells his dad, he's just mad because I'm dating his daughter. And I'm like, no, you aren't. You took her to an old abandoned mine and got her in trouble. And then you almost like got her implicated in a hit and run, and now suddenly you're dating. I don't know. That was just a dumb comment. But then the judge is like, listen, dude, you have had enough trouble that I've covered up for you. And if you do some shit again, I can't cover for you. Which doesn't even feel like a real threat. It feels like he's told him this multiple times.
Yeah.
And then turned around and covered for him anyway.
Yep. So then we cut to Ernst back at his house. And then Pumpkinhead shows up. And he, like, I don't know exactly what happens, but somehow he's, like, strung upside down.
Yeah.
And then we keep cutting back to old lady in the hospital, and she's, like, convulsing. Right. And we also saw this in Pumpkinhead 3, kind of. Yeah. Like we were cutting back.
That's kind of what
to one of the characters.
That's what I was thinking, that this was the same mechanism that we saw in Pumpkinhead 3, where the person who casts the vengeance spell or whatever she did, I'm not sure what she did. She just invoked Pumpkinhead by saying, I'm invoking Pumpkinhead and sending him against you for my vengeance. It was weird.
Well, the thing is, she says that they'll all die from the vengeance of Pumpkinhead, but it seems like Pumpkinhead gets his revenge because they did the ritual.
Right.
Like, if they didn't do the ritual, she couldn't have cursed them. Yeah. Right?
So that's why I was saying that the motivations and how everything unfolded here was a little confusing, because who is she avenging? Herself? Because it seems like when they wrong her is when she's like, you motherfuckers, I'm sending Pumpkinhead after you because you pissed me off. But then it turns out it's connected to Tommy. And so it wasn't clear as to why this happened in the first place, how he was able to be resurrected. And I don't know. I wasn't sure.
Yeah. So he gets strung up upside down and murdered.
Right.
And then we cut to the next morning and they're investigating. For some reason, the judge is there, like in the investigation. Yeah. Is this like how Doug Bradley had 50 different roles because it's a small town? The judge also does investigative work? Or
I did notice.
Is he just covering shit up?
I did notice that illegally? All three of these movies take place in a small town. Like all three have the same sort of small town dynamics and politics in the background, which I guess lends itself to the idea that Pumpkinhead is this like lesser known kind of backwater folklore thing.
Yeah.
But that was interesting though. So yeah, I don't know why the judge was there talking about the investigation. But at the same time, he talked about the investigation with his wife, like actual evidence, and showed her things, like all of that seemed kind of weird too.
Oh, and the judge says Ernst is just a scared old boy with a head full of rats.
Yeah.
And I was like,
what does that mean?
What does that mean?
Don't know.
Oh, and then they find a like V in blood or something, and they're like, "This is like what we saw back at the old lady's house." So he makes the connection that they're
Oh, it's not
connected.
a V, it's claw marks.
Oh yeah, it's the
Yeah,
claw
they find
marks.
claw marks. And oh, that was why he said he thought it wasn't an accident, because he looked at a piece of the wood and he saw that the claw marks were on
Oh
the
yeah,
outside. And so he's like, well, something came from the outside and potentially dragged her out of the house. So I
yeah,
at this point, I think you're supposed to believe that Pumpkinhead saved her from the fire.
yeah. And then like that later, they're like at the dinner table, and someone like brings up Pumpkinhead, and the show's like, "Oh yeah,
I
Pumpkinhead.
know
I know
exactly what that
Pumpkinhead."
is.
And they read some of the poem.
Yeah, he recites it. And I'm like,
Yeah,
you more than know what that is. Like, you know the whole damn poem.
yeah,
But yeah, so, and I thought that this was also not necessarily the dinner table because they were having dinner. They were just sitting around the table and the coroner was there and they were talking about the case.
yeah. And Jenny's like eavesdropping.
Yeah. And she's the one who brings up Pumpkinhead.
Yeah. And then that night, Jenny's having like a dream of sleeping with Danny, like in the middle of the woods on her bed. And then Pumpkinhead like jump scares her in the dream.
Yeah. What was that? It's not connected to anything else in the movie. It never comes up again. She never talks about it. It is just a random like little scene that takes place and never is spoken of again. Like, what was that? What the fuck?
I don't know. It was so random.
Yeah.
I feel like it was just to catch you off guard so they could jump scare you with Pumpkinhead.
Maybe, but it was really out of place, I think, because there's no reason for it. She's not like a clairvoyant character. Like, her dreams are not prescient, right? Like, it doesn't seem like there's anything special about her.
Yeah. It's like completely just for like a jump scare moment, I think.
Okay. All right, yeah.
And then we cut to a gratuitous sex scene.
Oh, yes. Right after that.
And there's like a alternate reality hair metal ballad playing in the background or something. And then he comes and he breaks this guy's back over his knee like a pro wrestler.
Oh, Pumpkin.
Yeah, Pumpkinhead breaks the guy who was having sex his back over his knee like he's in the WWF.
Yeah, but he doesn't kill him when the woman's in the room. She goes out to like get the cigarettes from the car.
Oh yeah.
And she comes back and Pumpkinhead is there. And apparently she ran around screaming for the rest of the night. Because when the sheriff and the coroner come the next day, she's still running around screaming. And
I thought she was just like somewhere like maybe asleep or passed out, because they start investigating and she just bursts out of nowhere screaming, like apropos of nothing.
I thought she had just been screaming. I didn't even catch the she.
Well, wouldn't they have heard that? I mean, they're investigating the scene. She just suddenly bursts out like out of a doorway screaming. So I don't know. It didn't make sense either way, but I imagine if she was running around screaming, they probably would have heard her earlier.
And then the doctor does my least favorite thing that every movie does: holds her still, and then gives her some medication. And I'm like,
oh yeah, they like tranquilize
but
her.
at the same time, you have no idea what is causing this state she's in. So if she's on drugs, there's a good risk that you are giving her something that could interact with it, or you're giving her something without knowing her medical history that could cause her to have a bad reaction. It's just like the most wanton and irresponsible act of any doctor. Look, and I feel like we see it
You've
so
got
much.
A hysterical woman, you shoot her up with some
Well, so that's the other thing. The remnants of treating hysteria as a medical condition. Like, what the fuck? And then you have it being administered by a female doctor. And hold her still, I don't know. It's just the whole thing just rubs me the wrong way. I really hate those kinds of depictions. And of course, the man grabs her, holds her still, and this woman is like, whatever. So then she's like, her mind is gone. Or maybe the med you just gave her is causing her to have a reaction where she, is having something going on mentally that
Or
you,
she's in
or
shock.
she's in shock or whatever. But like, I don't know. It's fine. It wasn't a clean, the set of events did not happen cleanly, and
This woman's a worse doctor than Doug Bradley.
yeah, and it's sad because I liked her and she seemed like her intentions were good and she seemed like she had a good head on her shoulders, but this particular thing where she's like, hold this woman still, let me give her some drugs to calm her down, just, I don't know. I think that's just a writing thing that this poor actress was roped into because like it just it brings up all kinds of issues for me to see scenes like that. And this, I don't know, there was nothing about this scenario that needed it to unfold in that way. But yeah, whatever.
So then the judge is like, I know how to solve this. Good old fashioned lynch mob.
Yeah.
And the sheriff's like, no, how about we do some police work?
Yeah, this is the...
It's not actually revealed that the judge is the lynch mob guy from the first scene, but you kind of get that feeling when he immediately jumps to, you know how we can solve this? A lynch mob. You don't even have a suspect yet.
Who are you going out to kill? And also, the sheriff is like, who are you going out to kill? And he has no answer. Yeah. And he's like, we'll know it when we find it. And he's like, okay, and what if you kill the wrong person? And he has no answer for that either. And it seems like he's resolved to just make themselves feel better by just going out and shooting.
Yeah. And so the judge has no like point of reference for Pumpkinhead being real, right?
I don't think so.
It's not like there was a Pumpkinhead rampage in the past 40 years or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So he has no idea who he's going after.
No, he doesn't.
He's like, someone knows what we did and they're killing us and we're gonna lynch mob our way to the truth.
Yeah. No, I don't even think he's connected at that point. The someone knows what we did part. I think
he did because it's two of his friends dead. So I think he's putting it together now.
Okay. Well, yeah, luckily the sheriff kind of puts a stop to it and is like, no, you're not doing this. And as we suspected, the judge goes behind his back, brings the mayor in, and later on we see they overrule him. But for now, the posse has been stalled for the time being.
Yeah. And then we cut to the teenage hooligans and they're like having a meeting saying, Jenny's a rat. She ratted out her friends at her last school. And also, we're pretty sure this is Pumpkinhead.
Yeah. I don't know how they came to that conclusion, but Marcy is very sure. And they're all interesting that they bring up the lady again, the old lady. They're like, she's in the hospital and she could be really hurt. And they're weird. Like, in light of everything that's happened, it's strange that these kids are still thinking of this woman's well-being because she don't give a fuck about y'all. She has cursed you to a gruesome death.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Danny defends her, right? Because he's like, she's one of my kind. I know what it's like to have your parents cover for you, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you ratted someone out. Sometimes they cover for you just cause, which was everything he didn't actually say to them, but that's exactly the feel of his little speech. He's like, you don't know that she ratted anybody out. Her dad's the sheriff.
Look, some of us are spoiled and have connections.
Yeah, basically. He's like, don't take that out on her. And of course, Jenny walks up and the first thing she says, I think we should tell someone. And they're like, told you.
Yeah. Okay. And then we cut back to the doctor and the sheriff, and she's like, the blood results are in and they're not human or animal. So what is it? And I'm like, yeah, what is it? How do you even know it's blood? How do you determine it's not any animal?
Yeah.
if it's blood.
She says it's no creature I've ever seen before. So
well, she says it's non-animal. She straight up says that, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Oh, I didn't catch
and
that.
And also, you're a human doctor. I don't think you know every kind of blood of every kind of animal.
Yeah. There's actually, I feel like I've seen episodes of stuff where the police recover non-human blood and they have to send it out to like a special lab to get it tested because the regular coroner does not know how to analyze like animal blood.
Yeah. But I feel like they would say at worst we can't identify the animal, not this is non-animal blood.
Right. I feel like there've been like
it's demon blood.
Yeah, I feel like there've been like Law and Order episodes where they recover blood that's not the victims or the perps or persons at all, and so they're like, okay, we have to identify this blood, and then they send it out, and then halfway through the episode the blood results come back and it's someone's dog or something.
Speaking of Law and Order, I totally thought the intro music sounded like some Temu Law and Order intro music.
Oh my gosh, I actually felt kind of seen because I was like, this kind of sounds like what I was tinkering with when I was writing our theme song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like, it's a good thing I had never seen this movie before because I suddenly would have thought that I had that tune in the back of my mind, but I had never seen this movie. It wasn't the same. It just felt there were some similarities. Yeah, so the doctor is like non-animal blood and the two of them are like mind melding. We know it's Pumpkinhead, but we won't say it out loud.
Yeah. And so I forget how they get onto the topic, but they talk about Tommy Parnell, who is the deformed boy who was lynched.
Yeah.
And the sheriff reveals that he saved that kid's life when they were kids.
So this is when I said there's no reason for his wife to be involved in this. So they take the second guy whose name I don't remember, the second guy who gets killed.
Yeah.
They go through his stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And he has a box of his like personal belongings.
Yeah.
And
he's got a like safety deposit box.
Yeah, he goes through it with his wife.
I mean, the wife does not really need to be a character in this movie, but yeah, I don't know why. She's only in the movie to be part of the investigation, which she shouldn't be.
Right. Like there's a huge chain of custody issue.
It would make much more sense to have a deputy character.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And it even could have been the same woman. They could have just made her a deputy. Yeah, it made no sense that the wife was there because she was sort of a non-character, except she was a part of the investigation. Yeah, but she's going through it.
Yeah.
And they find an article about Tommy Parnell, and then he tells the story because you forget that he's actually from this town until this little part comes back up.
Yeah. And then we get the flashback, and he was looking for his toy fire truck and he finds Tommy playing with it like on top of that mine, which I guess he's just got a blind old lady looking after him, but he should not be playing on top of this like bottomless hole.
Yeah, I didn't understand.
But he is, and he falls, and then the sheriff runs up and grabs his hand and saves his life.
Yeah.
And then apparently that was it. He like never saw him again.
Yeah.
And then he allegedly disappeared.
Right. So he in his narrative, he thinks that his parents took him and they moved away. But then he finds the article saying that he hung himself and that it happened in their town. And so then he was like, wait, what? I don't remember this happening. So then he starts to investigate that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really make sense because it doesn't really make sense that he does this. This seems like he goes on like a personal side quest.
Well, the reason they give is that why does this retired postman, who is the second murder victim, have this article under lock and key? So he's like, this is part of the investigation that we need to get to the bottom of this.
I guess so.
It's a loose thread, but whatever. But then we cut to this, like, I don't know if it's like a rodeo or I'm not country enough to know what kind of event this is. They're like cutting off chickens' heads. This guy's handing out money.
Oh!
And apparently it's these guys named the Knox brothers. Do you have any idea what event this is supposed to be?
I didn't realize it was an event. I thought it was just these two dudes just like being idiots. chopping off chickens' heads and selling the chicken.
Well, there's all these like lights, and they're handing out like stacks of cash, and they're like, another job well done. It seems like they had some kind of event.
Yeah.
And it seems like people were clearing out at the end of the night. But
Mm.
then,
Oh,
so there's
maybe it was cockfighting, and at the end they kill him.
oh, that's probably what it was.
Yeah.
That makes sense
Okay.
because we see them chopping a chicken's head off,
Right.
and then he's handing out fat stacks of cash, so that makes sense. They were betting on cockfights.
Right. Okay.
And then this woman's like tending to the chickens, and one of the brothers like, you missed a spot, and he's like, she can't hear you, she's deaf. Which we will learn that these are 3 siblings, so he knows full
Yes.
well that she's completely deaf, and he's yelling at her anyway.
Yeah.
And then he like runs over to her, like grabs her by the hair and like throws her on the ground or something. And he's like, that's no way to treat your baby sister. And he's like, you got room to talk. He's like, what do you mean? Well, I ain't the one sleeping with her.
Yeah. It was the.
It's like, what in the hillbilly is going on here?
Yeah, we did not need to go to this part of that.
We did not need this.
We did not need to go to this part of Appalachia. Honestly, I was like,
Yeah.
Why is this the part of the story? Don't know. But you're right. It doesn't make any sense why, 1, he yells at her because he knows that she can't hear him. 2, the other one informs him that she can't hear him, knowing that he should probably know. And it's weird because it felt like they were 3 random people, but then turns out they're siblings. It was a strange scene. This was another, I'm not really sure why this is happening. However, what I do think is we just got hit with, they're bad people. No, they're really bad people, right? Like one after the other. And so when we see them killed, we won't feel so bad.
Yeah, but Ernst didn't really do anything, right?
No, I don't think he did.
He was just slightly belligerent. Yeah. And then the dude having sex, like, didn't really do anything.
Well, he was cheating on his wife.
Okay. I don't care.
I mean, I'm just saying, like...
But then these guys are, like, abusive and doing incest with their, like, maybe disabled... Well, I mean, she's definitely disabled, but maybe mentally disabled. I don't know. It kind of seemed like it's sister. Like, these people, for some reason, have to be pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Because, of course, Pumpkinhead rolls in and kills them.
Immediately. And she's cowering in the corner and watches the whole thing happen.
Yeah. And then the cops show up and they come to her and they're like, oh, well, she's deaf and mute. She can't help us. And I'm like, okay, I'll assume she's also illiterate and can't write. She could still draw you a picture of Pumpkinhead.
I thought about that. I was like, maybe the point of this is to show that everyone who sees him walks away catatonic because it's just too much for their feeble minds. But they really didn't make any effort to see how much she could help them. They were just like, well, she can't talk, she can't hear.
Yeah.
But, you know,
they write her up.
They do. So at this point, my only complaint is that every single kill happens in this like crazy strobe light.
Yeah. Every kill is like strobing, and then we're cutting back to Miss OC in the hospital, like seizing.
And the thing is, we don't actually see a lot of these kills. A lot of the time, it's just a blood splatter.
Yeah, it's kind of just like a first person coming at them and then blood splatter.
Right. And by the time these guys are killed, I am sort of like, I need to like look away from the screen because of all this strobing.
Yeah.
So that was kind of tiresome on my eyes to watch. But yeah, apparently there is light because the other characters see the light when he's killing them. So
yeah. And then they get the coroner report back on Tommy. And she's like, he couldn't have hung himself. These wounds are consistent with a bludgeoning. And I'm like, what about the 100 stab wounds from the switchblade? That wasn't in the report?
Yeah, I was wondering about that too. Because at first I was thinking she's looking at the corpse. And these are the conclusions that she can draw from looking at the corpse. And then I realized, no, this is the original coroner's report. So this is the full body of the person. So that coroner definitely would have seen the stabbings. So I was very
Yeah,
confused.
and because I was thinking either it was covered up and it would just be he was hung,
Right.
or there was a proper coroner's report and there should be like 100 stab
Yeah.
wounds on the report because they stabbed the shit out of
Right.
him.
And then she says, no, he was stabbed to death and he didn't hang himself. He didn't hang himself.
Well, she said he was bludgeoned to death, which he was also bludgeoned, but he was also stabbed, and I think that would stand out.
Yeah.
Because you don't stab yourself 100 times and then hang yourself.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like it maybe was buried, but not exactly hidden. But she locates the report and it's in there. Yeah, and there's no reason why the stabbings aren't documented.
Yeah. And so they go to Miss OC to like ask her about it, I guess, and then she dies.
Right.
And then she comes back.
Yeah. Yeah. And talks to them in this cryptic like creepy voice in like what's the word I'm looking for? She speaks to them in semi parables, like it doesn't make any sense, and she's just speaking to them in like fragmented sentences.
Yeah.
She says something like, he come for them wings or something like that.
Yeah. And he's like, the wings, the blood wings, and she's like, no, the red wings, which will come back in a minute. And she also says, before I died, I was the guardian of a special soul. His father was the one you call Pumpkinhead. So she's revealed that Tommy was the son of Pumpkinhead, which...
What?
And she also says his mother was no one special.
Right.
So apparently some random woman fucked Pumpkinhead?
Or it was like a...
Question mark?
or it was like a Rosemary's Baby situation where the demon implanted his spawn somehow and then she gave birth. Well,
it's left up to the imagination because we won't get any clarification for how Pumpkinhead conceives children.
Yeah, and it's never
maybe in part 4.
And it's never I was gonna say it's never mentioned again.
Yeah.
Maybe it will be revealed in the upcoming R.L. Stine's Pumpkinhead. Did you read about that?
I thought I told you about it.
You did? Oh, I just saw it when I was looking for the
It's
synopsis.
Completely unrelated. It's just the same name.
No, it says it says it's supposed to be a sequel to the original.
I saw that it was completely unrelated. Huh. Maybe I got bad information.
I don't know. Maybe I misread it.
I saw a picture of it and it was a completely different creature. So
okay. All right.
There's like a scarecrow looking
Well, then
thing.
never mind. We can't expect any explanations from R.L. Stine's Pumpkinhead. But yeah.
But maybe from part 4.
Maybe from part 4. I didn't understand. I was like, wait, so he has a kid? And then also, why would he not come back immediately? Can he only take vengeance on people who ask for it on behalf of somebody else? He can't come back and avenge his own child? What this makes no sense.
Well,
and why does she not wait? Why does she wait?
He needs the ritual completed so he can come back. But my question is, why did she set up the whole ritual
and then not do it?
And then never do it?
I was wondering that too.
But she tells them that once the 6 people responsible for Tommy's death are dead, then he'll go after the people who killed me, Miss OC. Right. And then she dies again.
So she enacts vengeance on behalf of both herself and Pumpkinhead. And Tommy.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the sheriff's like, but there were only 5 deaths. So they go dig in and they find out the 6th person is the judge, whose name is apparently Merle Dixon.
Yes, I saw that too. I was like, how do I know that name? Oh, right.
Yeah, which if you don't know, that's a major character in The Walking Dead.
Right. So, and he is just as much of a dick, apparently.
Yeah, maybe not as racist, but I don't know. It's a small town. He might be just as racist.
That's true. Well, yeah. So we see.
Oh, then we cut back to the judge and Tommy and Jenny's there, and he tells Jenny, I hope you have protection.
Oh, yes. And before he walks out, he tells Danny, I stocked the fridge, and is like, because he says something like, oh, you guys having a party? I stocked the fridge. You're welcome to it. And then he walks by her and is like, I hope you have protection. And I was like, okay, ew. But
falls short of being like, roofies are in the medicine
yeah,
cabinet.
I was like, what the hell? And she is dumb and just, okay, haha, thanks. I was like, what in the world?
Oh my God, yeah.
But yeah, all the friends gather at Danny's house.
And then Danny puts his dad's jacket on Jenny, and she like turns around and we see it's a Red Wings jacket, like kind of like Detroit Red Wings, but it's apparently the local high school team. So now we know what the Blood Wings are. They're the jackets they were wearing when they lynched Tommy.
Right. And so immediately you're thinking, take it off, girl. He's going to see you and think you were one of them. But
I mean, she's already marked for death, so doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know that.
Yeah. Well, the friends get to Danny's house and they are like, FYI, Miss O.C. died. So we really think we should do something and say something to someone. And Danny's
like, so fucking what?
Yeah. He goes off the deep end.
Yeah. And then they're like, we gotta go to the sheriff. He's like, no, we fucking don't. And pulls out a gun. And he's like, I'm gonna fucking shoot you.
He loses his fucking mind. He pulls out a gun on his friends. It was wild. Yeah. I was like, wait, hold on, back up. If what you did before...
he's like shoving it in Polly's face, like point blank.
If what you did before is something you don't want to be caught for, what the hell do you think is going to happen now? Like, you basically, if you want to get away with pulling a gun on these people, you're either going to have to scare them into being quiet or kill them. Because I highly doubt that the kids who feel guilty enough about what they did to this woman and want to report it are going to stay quiet after having a gun drawn by their friend. I don't know. It was insane. I was just like, what's the goal here? What's the end goal with this?
Yeah. And they're like, what are you going to do? You're going to shoot Polly in the face? Like, they're like asking him. They're like, is this seriously your game? Is you're going to shoot your friend in the face for saying he might tell the cops? Wild. So then the judge is on the phone and he's calling his posse. He's like, you got to get out here. They've killed 5 of my friends. I think I'm next. And then he hears like a crash. So he goes in the next room and he sees like blood, wings, like red V's all over his house. And then Pumpkinhead just like smashes through the window.
Right. And his is another strobe lighty death.
Yeah. So now all the original assholes are dead.
Right. So now he's pivoting to the kids and we know he's headed over there. Meanwhile, the mayor confronts the sheriff and basically says, we're getting a posse together whether you like it or not, because it'll be good for the town. And I don't quite understand how he jumped to that conclusion. Something about tourists and I was like, what?
Yeah, he's like, I've got a friend at the National Enquirer and I want that monster dead or alive because it'll get tourists here.
But they don't actually
they don't
actually know yet. Like, there's a big jump that they're making.
Everyone has already come to the conclusion that the monster is real. I mean, no one in this town needed a lot of evidence to jump on the Pumpkinhead is real bandwagon. Like, the kids were like, well, people are dying. Must be Pumpkinhead that we dug up.
Crazy.
So then Danny's got his gun in Polly's face. He's like, go get the car right now. And so he runs off. And I swear he's dressed like a pirate. He has like a red striped tank top and like baggy pants. And he just looks like a pirate. Anyway, he goes to the car, but Pumpkinhead beats him there. And we cut back to the other teenagers, and Polly gets thrown through the window dead.
Poor Polly.
Yeah, I didn't think he was gonna die like that. I thought he was gonna have some like moments here, because I don't know. I just didn't think they were gonna kill him off that quickly.
Yeah.
Like after he gets the gun in his face, I thought maybe he'd get some retribution on Danny.
Yeah, no.
But nope, immediately dies.
And in fact, Pumpkinhead immediately kills those kids. Because he goes, Polly, and then he gets Marcy. And at that point, I was like, oh, snap. I didn't even think Marcy was going to die, but she did the spell.
Yeah, it's wild because we're like 10 minutes from the end of the movie and all the teenagers are alive. So Pumpkinhead's like, well, better get cracking. No time to waste.
Gotta fix that. But yeah, he kills Polly and then Marcy and then her boyfriend. And then I thought
he impales Marcy, and then the boyfriend gets another like first person strobe light kill. He doesn't get much. And then he grabs Danny by the head
and
rips his head clean off and throws it on the ground. It's like the one real kill in this movie. Yeah. It's like they put all their kill budget into this fake Danny head.
Yeah, because the head.
Because we see all the blood vessels ripping out and the spine and everything. It's insane.
Yeah, and then when the head falls to the ground, it looks nothing like him.
Yeah, it looks nothing like him at all. It's so funny.
But he delays after killing Danny long enough for Jenny to turn and run.
Yeah, and then she like runs up to the abandoned mine where Tommy was killed, and he's about to kill her, but the sheriff shows up and he's like, Tommy,
remember me?
Don't do it. I won't hurt you. And at this point, I'm like, wait, is it Pumpkinhead or is it Tommy? I was so confused. Is this Tommy's dad or is it Tommy? Is he Tommy possessing his dad?
Or his dad possessing Tommy? Like I said, I think the mechanisms here were very muddy. I didn't understand.
Yeah. I was very confused here. But apparently Tommy's in there somewhere because he reacts.
Right. And before Miss Osi died, she hands the sheriff a talisman and is like, you might be able to use this someday. It's like the vaguest instruction. But she's like, you might be able to use this. So then he holds up the talisman and is like, remember Miss Osi, you trusted her. She gave me this. It's very, I don't know. It's a tenuous connection, but he does reach out and
he's got his magic MacGuffin.
Yeah, and it gives him just enough time to talk him down.
I feel like it was totally unnecessary. I feel like the connection to their past should have been enough because that was the actual thread. They didn't really need a MacGuffin here, but yeah, he reacts like, I'm not going to kill your daughter because apparently Tommy's in there somewhere. Right. But then the posse rolls up.
And we get our second lynching.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Of apparently the same character.
Yeah.
Got lynched twice.
Yeah. And they
just shoot the fuck out of him.
Oh my gosh.
They unload on him for like 5 minutes. And then he falls into the mine. But
during that scene, it cuts back to the first lynching in the black and white scene.
Oh yeah.
So it's like going between Pumpkinhead being shot and hung and back to Tommy as he was being stabbed and hung. It was really, again, uncomfortable. And I was like, I have never felt this conflicted about watching a villain monster die. But at that point, I was like, I hope something happens to these people because this is wild and they are enjoying it way too much.
I mean, I feel like Pumpkinhead only really became a villain when he killed Polly. Up until then, he was justified.
I guess so. But also, I don't even think, to be honest, I don't think that Jenny was even implicated in this curse.
Well, she wasn't.
Right. And I don't think that the reason he doesn't kill her is because of the dad. I think it's because she wasn't even a part of it.
Yeah, but in the first movie, it's literally only that one brother who actually killed the kid. And then like the other kids did fuck all and they still got murdered.
Mm.
So I feel like she would have been murdered if not for this connection to her father.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair, I guess.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. Happy ending, I guess.
And those people go right on doing their own thing, not even caring.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no consequences for them. Like, the sheriff's like, no, stop! What are you doing? Stop! And they're like, what do you mean what we're doing? We're shooting the monster, duh. And they unload on him, and then they go on with their day.
And then he falls into the mine, and there's an explosion.
Oh yeah, there's an explosion for some
Yeah.
reason.
But then they come back and they find the little toy fire truck, and he's like, "Aw,
Oh yeah, yep,
this was mine. I remember this." And you see the shot of Tommy as a kid playing with it.
yeah. And it should have been at the bottom of the mine because he
Right.
dropped it, and that's why he fell in the first place. But somehow it just ended up here, apparently by
Yeah.
magic. The magic of
Right.
friendship.
Uh, yeah, this okay, so what are our thoughts?
It was really funny at times, and then other times I'm like, what the fuck is the tone of this movie? Like, the lynch mob was so extra. The weird incest abusive brother scene was so weird.
Yep.
But then the rest of it was just kind of goofy and not taking itself seriously. Like, I guess that part wasn't taking itself seriously. But the lynching scene was so
Yeah.
savage. Like, it was so extra.
Yeah. So it's funny that you just said that because I kept thinking tonal whiplash the whole time. I
Yeah.
was like, whoa, this isn't what I'm watching. Okay, I guess it's a different kind of movie. I don't know. It was weird because it was like teenage kids who do something wrong and get vengeance taken on them, but then also grown-ups who did something wrong in the past also getting vengeance taken out on them, and those two storylines stacked on each other in the context of this small town, but also investigation being led by little small town sheriff. There were just a lot of elements, I think, that were playing out on their own separately and didn't mesh well and were not blended well, you know?
Yeah, I feel like the first movie was like all serious, and the third movie was like straight goofy the whole time. But this is like going back and
Right.
forth
Like, did you
rapidly.
notice the sheriff was like 25? I mean, the mayor?
Oh
Yeah, the mayor was
yeah.
like 25.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was the mayor at first. I thought he was like a journalist or something. I was like, oh, he's the mayor?
Yeah.
He didn't give mayor
No, he
vibes
didn't.
at
And
all.
then there's another part where he talks to one of the nurses or maybe the coroner's assistant. It's a girl, and he says something like really there's innuendo there where he's like, "Did you keep it warm for me?" And she's like, "Yes, I did, Mr. Mayor." It was so fucking strange. So strange. And so it's like, what story is being told here? What am I supposed to be following? Because first of all, I don't know how he came back. I don't know what this spell did. I don't know who vengeance she's why if she can summon Pumpkinhead to go wreak vengeance on people, why didn't she do it right after Tommy was killed? Why? Why didn't
Yeah.
she immediately summon him to go kill those kids?
So like I'm thinking like maybe she thought better of it, but then why leave the altars up for 30 years or whatever? Like what, that makes no sense. Why she set up this whole ritual and just left it 80%
Yeah,
completed for
right.
decades.
So for me the funny parts are only funny after we've talked about it. As I was watching it, I
Oh,
didn't no, as I
really?
was watching it, I didn't think it was funny. I was annoyed because I'm trying to keep track of all these things and I know what's going to happen. I know he's just going to come through and kill all these people, but just the jumbled up story with the strobe light killings, it was just like I don't know.
Oh, I thought there's so many funny scenes in this.
Hmm.
There's so many funny lines. And like I don't know what they were going for. Like the part where he was like, I hope you have protection. Like that scene has to be intentionally comedic, right?
Maybe, but
But it's
it
weird.
was kind of awful. Like,
Yeah, that's kind of the humor in this and the third movie are like, well, that's funny, but also kind of awful.
yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I think there was something that was more like making fun of itself in an obvious way in the third one. And it didn't do
Yeah,
this.
but there's definitely elements of that here. There's definitely things here that are supposed to be making fun of
Yeah.
itself.
But for the sake of this poor boy with a deformity who is just targeted and killed, it feels like there's some maybe duty to have that storyline get wrapped up in maybe a serious way Just the way, that's what I mean when I was saying the tone is just crazy.
Yeah.
Because if you set up something that is so cruel, there has to be a balance to it, right? And so the through line of that story just got muddled with this Pumpkinhead stuff.
I feel like the counterbalance for that was supposed to be the kind of cheesy magic friendship angle with the sheriff.
Right. But that didn't.
But that wasn't very well done.
Yeah, and it came up kind of late, and then in the end, it wasn't really clear. I guess it was clear that all he had to do was say, "It was me, I saved you," and he flashed back to that, and it was enough to change his mind.
It did not occur to me at all that Pumpkinhead either was Tommy or was possessed by Tommy until that happened. And I'm like, he starts doing this, and I'm like, what if that's just Pumpkinhead and he doesn't give a shit?
Right.
Which would have been kind of awesome, actually. It was like, oh, nice try. Tommy's
and he
not
kills
in
her
there.
anyway.
Tommy's just dead. Yeah.
Yeah, that might have been good. But then the problem with them the problem with that creating that Tommy is Pumpkinhead link, or the Pumpkinhead is Tommy link, is that when they do the scene at the end where he's shot again, you have the same character having the same thing happen to him. So he got his revenge, but then had to relive it. It just felt like, I don't know, gratuitous.
Yeah, I think it would have been better to have Pumpkinhead just destroy the lynch mob and then escape.
That's exactly what I thought was going to happen. But no, they just hang him. And it's funny because he shows mercy, and the next thing that happens is he gets caught. And I'm like, that's why Pumpkinhead doesn't show any mercy anymore, because he let one person go and you guys strung him up. So that's it.
And it was also jarring the way we have the sheriff being like, no, don't kill him. And then it's just like cut to the happy ending because Jenny survived. Right. But there's no justice for the lynch mob.
No justice for the lynch mob. Jenny, who is just like a piece of lined paper, she's so dull. And she's the one that we're supposed to care about. Give me a break.
Yeah. I feel like, wasn't there like a character in the first movie who was all like, we have to do the right thing in a similar way?
It was a girl.
I think she was like the final
girl.
It
was a girl.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a repeat of the same archetype, where it's like you have the one girl with the moral high ground in the group of hooligans.
And even Soleil Moonfry was saying we have to do the right thing, but she poured the blood, so her hands were dirty.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I wasn't expecting her to get impaled
I
like
was
that.
not. I was actually kind of shocked when it happened, because I thought she would put up a little bit more of a struggle, like run a little bit more, or...
It's just crazy how fast that friend group died. Yeah. Like, they spent the entire movie killing off the old people, and then it's like, okay, we got 10 minutes to kill 5 teenagers. Let's go!
Yeah. Yeah, I really actually was kind of thinking maybe by the end that the movie would have pivoted, and Pumpkinhead, after killing the judge, would have maybe done something else. Or maybe, I don't know, the spell wore off because Aussie died.
I was kind of thinking the other kids would like find some way to solve this, and then Danny would be undermining them, and then Danny would get killed, and then the others would survive. But nope.
So here's the one thing I was confused about. Isn't the whole point in the previous movies, in the other movies we've seen, that if the person who casts the spell dies, then Pumpkinhead goes away? Because I thought when Miss Aussie died, he was just going to vanish. And that's not...
But she didn't cast the spell. Danny did.
Okay, so that's what makes it confusing, because
Danny's the Lance Hendrickson of this movie.
But wait, what? Danny's the Lance... Well, so that doesn't make any sense.
Because Pumpkinhead doesn't go away when he kills him either. But,
right.
I mean, it makes sense because he's the one who performed the ritual, even if he got revenge on himself.
Yeah, I don't understand. Because how is she invoking Pumpkinhead before the ritual is even finished? And then he comes...
I don't think she did. She just said that Pumpkinhead is going to kill them because they were going to do the ritual and Pumpkinhead was going to kill them.
Okay.
She didn't perform any ritual. She just said Pumpkinhead's gonna kill you all.
Oh, I thought she said, I invoke him to come after you. I'm sending him after you.
I don't think she said anything like that. I think she said Pumpkinhead. I think I have it written down. Hold on. You will all die. You will all die by the vengeance of Pumpkinhead. Is
That's
what she
okay.
says.
So that's kind of why I thought she meant her vengeance. Like she's invoking him to wreak havoc on her behalf. Maybe that's not what she meant.
But she did. I mean, she didn't do the ritual, so it doesn't make any sense for it to be that way. But yeah, I guess it does just make less sense than the other two movies, which were a little more straightforward in the ritual revenge angle.
Right. And if she had nothing to do with it, why is she the one who's being cursed with the visions every time he kills somebody? Shouldn't that have happened to the kids?
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, she's the guardian of Tommy's spirit, so I don't know, maybe that has something to do with it. She says that when she resurrects.
But the reason that...
Yeah, I mean, none of it really makes sense. It doesn't even really make sense who Pumpkinhead is. I assume it's Tommy because he must have been buried there, right? So it's probably his body that became Pumpkinhead. But I don't know. I really don't.
Because, and I actually, it's kind of a bummer that storyline was confusing, because I think one of the redeeming parts of the first movie is that Lance Hendrickson's character experiences the deaths that are his fault. And then he starts to feel, and then he feels remorse because he's a grieving father. He's not a bad person. And that element is changed here so that those kids never have to grieve or never have to have any sense of remorse because they don't know what's going on. In fact, it's Miss Aussie who is taking the heat and experiencing all the deaths. So if they cast the spell, they should at least bear some part of it, right? Because that, when you get to the third, it goes back to that model.
Yeah.
Whack.
Yeah, definitely isn't as good or consistent as the first movie.
Right.
But Pumpkinhead did look just as good.
That's true.
Which I think he looks great in both 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think so too. I am just about ready to rate.
All right, what are you gonna give it?
Honestly, 1.5.
I'm gonna give it a 2.5.
Okay. Yeah. 2 lynchings in one movie with no resolution?
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's pretty unnecessary.
Right.
But mostly what I liked is just the overall look of the movie. I love the 90s outfits of the kids, and I just love Pumpkinhead. He looks great.
Yeah.
And I was cracking up. There's just so many random things, like cutting to the moon with the most dramatic sting ever for no reason.
Yeah.
I rewound because I'm like, did I miss something? Was that supposed to be like, was there something else? No, just cut to the full moon, dramatic music sting for no reason. And that dream sequence.
Yeah.
Why was she dreaming of fucking Danny in the middle of the woods on her bed?
There's no explanation. None. Why is Pumpkinhead coming to her in her dreams? There's supposed to be something to go with that.
Yeah, because it's not like she knew of Pumpkinhead to be dreaming of him.
Right.
So apparently it's just part of the curse is that you have Pumpkinhead nightmares before he shows up.
Well, I actually think that dream happened after she was eavesdropping on the adults talking, because I think that was directly after.
Right. So that does kind of make sense.
So maybe the poem gave her a nightmare, but then how does she know what he looks like? I don't know. It wasn't explained well.
Yeah, part of the curse. You can chalk it up to that.
Right.
But I still don't know why the sex dream was part of the curse.
Yeah.
Or if it was.
Yeah.
All
right. So what are we watching next week?
All right. Let's confront the Pouch of Destiny. Lost Highway from 1997, directed by David Lynch.
Oh, Lost Highway. I don't think I've heard of this.
No?
No. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Great. All right. That's exciting.
All right. If anyone has any suggestions for movies, you can email us at horrorcoasttocoast@protonmail.com, or if you have any other feedback.
Yay. Right on. Okay. Until next time.
Until next time.
This podcast is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, Share-alike 4.0 International License. For additional information and other media content, visit theferalthread.com. Thanks for listening. Until next week.